That would
Yeah,
do.
yeah, okay. Oh, hello everyone. Welcome to Academy of Astrology. I'm Rod Chang, and today with me is Liam.
Hi.
Okay, I think it's very new for both of us, right? Because do you do Instagram usually, Liam?
Sorry, say that again,
Do you
Rod.
do you usually use Instagram?
Yes, not live though. Not
Not
live.
live. Me neither. I did try a few times, and I think was the last week or couple weeks before Alejo, my best friend Alejo started to use it, and I saw it and said, "Oh, I've been thinking about it," and I think was the last month, one of our colleagues, I think it's Chris, talking about how to use it, and I have a go, I have a try on the Instagram live, and I feel quite interesting. So well, so and it even more is like this week, when we read that Elon Musk has some, the Twitter deal, and we just both suddenly into his chart, and I feel quite interesting, especially when we saw his chart with Twitter, and when Bezos criticized his relationship with China, I said, "Oh, let me look at his chart with China," and something jumped out. I say, and then we just started, "Hey, should we do a, live chat about it?" And Liam said yes. So I was like, okay, let's try it on Saturday. And when we negotiate, I totally forget today is solar eclipse.
Mhm. Which is perfect for our first Instagram live. Perfect.
Yeah, yeah.
Or
we
not.
we would we'll explain why, because this is quite interesting, because
Yeah.
I think we I can feel that. I don't know about you, but I can feel that kind of a excitement, that kind of
Yeah.
Uranus energy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So should we start from the Twitter and Elon? So I think it. Let me introduce, very quickly introduce this background. I think most of us know that Elon first he buy a few share from Twitter, and then he's kind of going to you know enter into the how to the Twitter's center code, but eventually he offered to buy Twitter, and then they agree, and then so at this moment Twitter will become totally, he has total control. If this deal pass, he will have total control on Twitter, right?
Yeah, very much so. And I think this raises a really important question
Mm,
when we've still got Pluto and Capricorn and we're
yeah.
dealing with all the power dynamics. It's
Yes.
concerning that one individual can have so much power, not just
Agree.
over a financial situation, but control over the collective communication, our minds and our thoughts, because it's the power of social media. This
It
just isn't
is.
about buying a company. This
Yeah.
We've got to discuss the power of social media,
Yes.
because social media is inherent in our daily lives now. It
Mm-hmm.
controls our minds, it influences our thoughts. And we're now handing that potentially into the hands of one single powerful person.
Exactly, exactly. Is that when I? It is very interesting, because when I know that, before, I don't really. I mean, we all know Elon Musk, and some people adore him, worship him. He is kind of a genius. He has a lot of
Yeah.
he run a lot of he has some lot of great great idea, or some crazy idea, but this idea about the buying Twitter, because Twitter is quite interesting. Twitter is a place that on the social media have a particular characteristic things. It's like a Twitter, because I'm not used to using Twitter. I don't know any one of you joining us, but when I try to do the Twitter, yeah, they have a limit of the words. You can only say certain, how many, like 100 or 200,
Yeah. Yeah.
and then you couldn't edit it. You have to delete it and redo it again.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of controls, and when we look at Twitter's chart,
Mm.
we'll see where the control
Oh,
comes in.
should we?
Definitely.
Should we?
Yeah, yeah,
Okay. Let me. I'm ready. So I hope you can
yeah.
see. Everyone can see this chart. At this moment, be will. Should I go to only Twitter chat, or this is okay?
Yeah, let's start with just Twitter.
Yep. Okay. Here we are. This is just Twitter chat. Yes.
Yep. So this is when the first ever tweet was sent out, and this is AA rated, so we can use the angles, which is brilliant. So I got this off astro.com, and it's the first ever tweet that was sent out. So it's classed as the official start of Twitter. So you can see straight away we've got that air stellium. You need lots of air, don't you? Something to do with communication, which is absolutely fantastic. But there's a mutable T-square there. We've got Mercury and Uranus at the apex of that T-square.
Yeah.
And it's in Pisces. That's spreading it to the collective. This is communication via technology, short tweets, because Mercury's like short things, isn't it? Yes. Jupiter's long things. Yeah. You know, so these are short tweets, and it's got Mars and Gemini in that T-square. Yeah. So it's perfect, isn't it, for passionate debating?
It is
passionate debating, yeah. But we've got that Moon Pluto, don't we, in Sagittarius, and people get very passionate, very emotive. You know, people get incredibly emotive, and it can be a very toxic environment.
Indeed. Yeah.
Twitter can be incredibly cruel, nasty, bullying, and toxic because people pour their emotions out into this place.
Yes.
But Moon Pluto, opposite that Mars Gemini, is also about controlling the speech. It's about Twitter's limits and things like that. So it's a really interesting chart, and we've got the Sun at the first degree of Aries, which is perfect for a startup, isn't it? And we need to keep that in mind when we talk a little bit later, because we've got Mars and Jupiter moving into Aries, picking up that Sun in May.
Yeah. Yes, this T-square totally sums up the Twitter's, you know, the quality of Twitter, short message, and then like and then argument. Lots of argument happen on Twitter, and especially I like what you mentioned about that Moon Pluto. Also, the Pluto is a little bit away from the Moon, but there is an influence there. There's influence there because with that kind of a Twitter things, people trying to deliver the message, especially I think for last couple of years from like especially I think U.S. president election, and then the COVID-19, and then like Russia-Ukraine war. I think one thing is very interesting because that during the I think it was after American presidential election, Twitter banned Trump's account, and that even went viral because people get crazy. Wow, this company dare to step that far to ban the former president's account because he say he say something that we are not sure is true or not. For some people, they already believe that's true. So, you know.
Yeah. And doesn't Trump have, he's got Venus-Saturn in Cancer, and I'm just wondering if his Venus-Saturn sit on the ascendant of that Twitter chart.
I don't know. I don't know even if I have a Trump's chart here. Let me check. Should we check?
Yeah, I've got my solar fire in front of me. I can pull that up. Okay. Oh no, my solar fire is shut down. I'll get solar fire up, and then if we need any charts, I can just pull them up.
Yeah. Let me check if I have Trump here. I probably don't have Trump here, so yeah.
I do. I know he's got. I'm sure he's got Venus, Saturn somewhere around.
Okay.
Somewhere around that degree.
I think it's 20 degrees something.
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah, it's around that degree. Well, but this is quite interesting. I think we've been carried away to suddenly we want to look Trump's chart. How about let's come back first to Elon Musk?
Yeah.
More, you know, realistic, and because his chart is quite interesting, right? When we first look at this chart, it's like, oh my God. Oh, I have to remind our audience, this is a noon chart. We don't have his first time. So
Yeah.
we probably need to little bit ignore about the Elon Musk's ascendant and MC and even the moon. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, but I think when
Yeah.
yeah, I should let you
Shall I
start.
go, Rod?
Yes, please.
Yeah. So the thing that jumps out straight away with Musk is he has quite a lot of air synastry with Twitter, which you'd expect. You know, Musk is all about communication, the flow of things. You know, he's very Gemini, very
He
Aquarius, and we
is.
can see his Venus picking up the Twitter Mars, and his Mars picking up the Twitter Aquarius planets.
Yeah.
But with Musk, he has a Sun Uranus square.
Yeah.
You know, that he's got to have something like that to be an entrepreneur, innovative, and, you know, deal with the technology that he's dealing. But his Uranus sits right on Twitter's IC.
I see.
And it sits in Twitter's 12th house. So
Yeah.
there's something very destabilizing here.
Yeah.
Very destabilizing.
Yeah. I like what you say about the Sun and the Uranus square, because I think I remember what he say is that he has the high functional Asperger something. So, you know, he is
He's on the spectrum.
Yeah, what we call it, at this moment, we try to call neurodiverse.
Yeah.
Yeah. It is quite interesting. So that means when he focuses on himself, he's full on, I think. He's full on. I think that is the dynamic you're talking about when he is like he could be very different, and then when he focuses on something, he's totally on it.
Yeah.
That's why he can really do something quite different, to be honest. But and this energy apply on the Twitter's chart, we can see is on Twitter's IC. This means, you know, it could be the root. I mean, I want to use the word when every time I see the Uranus on IC, it's like cut you off from your root and move to somewhere else.
Yeah, so it's not necessarily a negative thing. It could be really progressive, progressive.
Yeah.
And like, you know, Twitter is an incredibly toxic place. And however, Musk he's very much into free speech, and he wants to free Twitter up even more and remove some of the blocks, remove some of the controls, open it up. So you have to ask the question, will it go very right wing? Which is Uranus, and it's, you know, when it gets extreme, can get very right wing.
It does, yes.
Yeah.
Yes, I think in one way, like you say, some people see this as a, you know, oh, it's good time for Twitter. We can see Venus is right on Twitter's Mars. It could maybe, you know, smooth down or something. But in another way, we notice the Mars is on Twitter's Neptune, and Venus is a little bit wild. Let's say Neptune only. And this one, I like this, you know, could stir it up and make more confused about what happened on Twitter and who is right, who is wrong, or what we say, what exactly is right, so-called, you know, what fake news or alternative truths.
Yeah, because, you know, the motivations could be coming from different places.
Yes.
What Musk wants isn't necessarily what Twitter in its current form wants.
Yes.
I don't know. Wherever there's Neptune, there's always some degree of uncertainty, isn't there?
I agree. And I think since this news comes out, because we know this deal is not there yet, right? Not become true. And there's already a lot of warning signs. The first, we will come back to the Bezos first later. But I think an organization called Human Rights Report already mentioned about if he want to go this like a remove lot of ban and block things. There's something like in Asia, there is, you know, like a certain Asia country are not ready for this kind of totally freedom of speech and allowed social media control themselves. And what I can say is maybe because in Asia, it's like everything is when the government say yes, you do it. When government don't say it, you are not doing it, and that's a very different situation. So, for example, like maybe like in India, Muslim situation in India, or certain situation in other part of like in Southeast Asia, that could flood up by this kind of false information or extremely opinion, attack each other. But even more, I think the things draw our attention is when Bezos from Amazon ask some question, and we just say, "Oh, yes."
And of course, Jeff Bezos is an incredibly powerful man.
He is, yeah.
Incredible, and they're both in the space race. We've got SpaceX
Yes.
and we've got Blue Horizon, and So there's going to be some competition there. Definitely. So you wonder if Jeff Bezos's argument is 100% objective.
Well, of course, probably we can say there's a competition there.
Yeah.
But what he say is not totally wrong, not vicious, because what he think and what he guess is, hey, there is a logic there, because we know that Tesla, that China is the second biggest market for Tesla, and that's where Musk earned his money from. He sell the share and buy Twitter, and we know that Twitter and China has something going on. They kind of ban a lot of their so-called fake account or robot account things. So what's going to happen if Musk, control Twitter? Something could be different, right?
Yeah, and I think Musk's got quite a lot going on at the moment because he has transit Pluto trine his natal Pluto at the minute, because transit Pluto's 28, and it will be heading back to 27. And 3rd of May, we've got that Jupiter-Pluto sextile coming up.
Yes.
Which is going to pick up his natal. He's got a natal Jupiter sextile Pluto, doesn't he?
Yes, indeed. Here we are.
Yes. That's very powerful. And that's, his Jupiter in Scorpio is like a money magnet.
Yes.
Yeah. So he's going to have a real power boost, I think, with that transit coming up, and which is 3 days time, isn't it? It's only 3 days.
Yes.
Yeah,
and then what should we look next? Maybe China with
China,
Musk?
Definitely.
Okay, let's go China. Okay, here we are. So, the inner circle is Elon and Elon Musk, and then the outer is the China People Republic of China. Then when we saw this chart, we were like, oh my God.
Do you know what I think is amazing and really fascinating about this chart? The Sun-Uranus dynamics. There's almost like a mutual reception.
You couldn't deny, you couldn't unsee it. It's there. It's right there.
So China has a Sun-Uranus square. Musk does, and they both pick each other up. It's incredible.
Yes.
Yeah. So it's probably not the most stable relationship, but I think if we look down, there's a lot of Venus, Jupiter, Scorpio stuff going on. There's a lot of financial benefit there, isn't there? And
yes, indeed. Yes, indeed.
And Musk, I think he was the first outside country to, he actually owns the manufacturing site for his cars in China.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
So he's got a very good relationship with them. He does.
Yeah, he
Yeah.
does. He does. So in this case, we can say, that is, I think this Mars Uranus is a kind of a quite, in one way, could be really a little bit more capitalism, and he trying to move it. And then another thing, if we can see, there is also some nodal relationship with a nodal axis, right? I think the Mars and the Pluto, China's Mars Pluto in Leo, is right on his south node.
And that Mars Pluto, that China, that's ruthlessly controlling.
It
It's
is.
incredibly controlling, and that
Yeah.
opposes his natal Mars a little bit more widely. So there's a
Yeah.
yeah
Yeah.
um
Yes. But the Pluto opposite his Mars.
yeah
Yeah.
yeah. So there's some power dynamics going on there.
Yes, indeed, indeed. And I think if I remember, this Pluto Mars conjunction is in China's eighth house.
Yes, it is. Yeah.
Yeah. And that is like a
Um,
very powerful, and that would definitely describe the tension between Musk and China. There is definitely
yeah.
a tension, a negotiation, a kind of a push and pull, at least something like that. He tried to get a little bit more, and they tried to push him. You know, that is ouch. When I see that chart, I just, oh my God, I wish I didn't see this one.
Yeah, that could just explode, couldn't it?
Yes, yes,
Yeah,
yeah.
that could explode.
And any part of this chart draw your attention to?
Well, I'm looking at the Jupiter midheaven dynamics there. So
Uh-huh.
China's 27 Scorpio midheaven sits right on Musk's
Oh yeah.
Jupiter,
Wow.
and the eclipse next month in May
Oh
is
yes.
25 Scorpio.
Yes. That is a lunar eclipse, right?
Yes, and that I
Yes.
think that's more powerful than the
Yeah.
solar eclipse today.
Definitely. Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, yeah,
Yes. That so this would definitely, China, Musk, and the thing. But so that's why I say, what Bezos says, it, it's not totally made up. There is a concern there. There is a concern there, but they're competitor to each other, so he kind of bring this out. Is also quite, could be
yeah,
have some influence or impact. Should we also look the relationship between Twitter and the China?
yeah.
Yeah, it's this one, right?
Yeah,
Yes, yes. So again, we can see the interesting bit is that the the Mars Pluto things, because this Mars Pluto, like you say, is controlling in the Leo,
yeah,
and then it's right opposite the Twitter's Venus and the Neptune conjunction.
yeah. Twitter feels a bit like a victim there, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's in Aquarius. It's quite fixed, so
Yeah.
it's relatively strong, and of course it is all about value and communication and via
Yes.
technology. But yeah, that Mars Pluto is incredibly strong, isn't it?
It is. It is. Yes.
Yeah, and isn't that forming a T square with? Yeah, there's a T square formed
Yes.
there,
With Jupiter, right?
and
And
yeah, and
yes.
yeah, yeah.
Oh
So there's
wow.
there's also financial stuff going on there.
Yes.
There's a lot of financial incentive with that Venus Jupiter in Scorpio. A lot of it's financial incentive, but financial control as well. It's
Yeah.
Scorpio, it's control.
Yeah. And this would be like a behind the thing, because the Scorpio things is a behind the thing. It's not very
Hidden.
directly. It's kind of a, you know, if you do this, I will do that.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
very much
Mm,
so.
yeah. But what striking me is the when every time I see this Twitter's chart, I couldn't ignore this summer midpoint at the 10 degree of Aquarius. Because I mean, it's today we have this a partial solar eclipse, and it's on 10 degree of Taurus, and this degree will square the will make a square to the Twitter's sun moon midpoint, and that is a sense. This sun moon midpoint is a quite could be like a sense and most important part of a chart too. It has like a very important meaning about it. And then this eclipse kind of square it that make us thinking, does this mean the tweet is definitely going to have a huge change?
It's going to have a reboot. If this deal goes through with Musk, it's going to have a massive reboot, a massive shift. It's possibly been stuck in a rut for a long time.
Yes,
you know,
indeed.
Twitter. And this eclipse with Uranus conjunct is brilliant for getting anything out of a rut, anything that's stagnating and stuck. And, you know, it might not be comfortable. Things might explode and burst out of the rut. But it's a very, very good eclipse for making changes, particularly financial and relationship-wise.
Yes. I think we probably come back to this solar eclipse. I just couldn't avoid to think about that. But should we? Is there any other chart we should look before we jump to eclipse?
Do you want to look at the tri-wheel of Musk, Twitter, and?
Okay, let's do it. So Musk, Twitter, and.
So what do we have on the inside? We've got Twitter inside.
Yeah, Twitter inside. Is that okay? Because we have the time, and the Musk is in the middle. And what's the outside? The third one?
China on the outside.
Oh, okay, cool.
Is it? Hang on.
So here I have the third, three wheel.
Yeah, I'm just getting my bearings.
Yeah, true.
So, whose chart is in the middle, the center wheel?
The center.
Oh, that's Musk. That's Musk, isn't it?
Yeah, Musk. Yeah.
Musk is in the second wheel.
Yes.
Twitter's in the inner wheel, and then China, on the outside.
Yes.
So we've got all that Scorpio stuff going on that we've already talked about.
Yes, indeed.
Oh, I don't know. We've got China's Jupiter.
Yes.
Close to the descendant of Twitter. That's quite.
Yes.
That might be quite helpful, actually.
Okay.
I don't know. I don't know.
Well, give them some money to survive.
Yeah, exactly. Financial, yeah. But you know that Mars Pluto, that China Mars Pluto, you know, with Musk's Mars there, which is sat on Twitter's Neptune.
Yes.
That's
so interesting.
You know, you just wonder if they're going to manipulate Twitter.
Yes.
It's right.
Yeah, that is a possibility, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. The Pluto is kind of influence and under the table negotiation or kind of threaten or kind of, you know, maybe soon we will hear about the Tesla has a lot of problem in China, and then and suddenly there's a lot of a ban of China's fake account. Suddenly they can work it again.
Yeah,
that is possible. That is a possibility. And so far, we still don't know are they going to make this deal or not. But offer is there, and they accept the offer. So it could happen. But you know, this history will say a lot that kind of the potential of once Musk take control of the Twitter, and there is a possibility China have more influence on Twitter soon. That is kind of we should keep an eye on it.
Yeah, there's an awful lot of fixed energy here, isn't there? And you know, that Taurus Scorpio axes and the Leo Aquarius axes, they can both be very controlling. With that Mars Pluto there, it can be so controlling, and there's some proper power dynamics going on here, and it's not entirely comfortable.
I agree, especially I think because let me switch this chart a little bit. I think the 3-to-1 switch, because what we can see is, if we look at this chart, I put China in the inner chart. China in the inner chart. The reason I'm doing this, just because China has the 3-degree Aquarius moon and the 5-degree Aquarius ascendant, and we all know what's going to happen next year is the Pluto. I remember you say that, right? When we first discussed about this, and you say you wonder what this next mean when Pluto moved into the Aquarius, and I 100% agree with you.
This is something bigger than what we are talking today, because Pluto going into Aquarius is the next big shift, and it's a massive shift. And that's going to pick up that China moon. In probably 2004. I think Pluto just sits at 0 and 1 degree Aquarius next year. And then bounces fully in, and and then in 2024. And it's also going to trine Musk's 1 degree Gemini Saturn. Right? He's going to have a lot of Pluto Saturn themes going on. So he's either going to take over the world. I'm always joking on with James Bond, and I've been joking on that he reminds me of a James Bond villain. He's going to take over the world. He's so powerful, and he's probably got lairs and secret bases built under volcanoes with rockets ready to come out. And I am having a little bit of fun with that. But when someone is so rich and has so much power, and we he's joining the space race, but he's also building tunnels underground. He's trying to get transport underground, which is very Pluto.
He has a finger on every pie.
Yes, absolutely. And that's what we know about. So what else is there that we don't know about? And with Pluto, that's what you always have to watch out for. What don't we know about? And when someone is in such a position of power, we're looking at Putin now in a position of power, the havoc he's wreaking around the world. And it just takes a small flip of the coin for that power to be directed in the wrong direction. And Pluto in Aquarius, it's going to feel a bit different to Pluto in Capricorn. We're seeing, all the rotten stuff come out of society, all the UK politics. Just look at the government this week with all the sex scandal, watching porn, and in the House of Commons, all of that stuff. But Pluto in Aquarius can be quite volatile. It can be quite unstable, because wherever there's progression, there's rebellion against progression. So I think it's going to be a quite interesting 10-20 years coming up ahead.
Indeed, and it will be very different, because I think because for prepare today's chat, I was like also even I would always have interesting so-called about blockchain and the cryptocurrency, but to be honest, more I read, more I doubt what exactly is those things. Does that necessarily those things called crypto coin? Because blockchain is a very good technique, and it's really the future. And then there's everything going to, they call it a wave 3.0. It's going to happen, and everything is going on that. So I think when next year Pluto moves into Aquarius, that would be a very interesting time for the internet. And they're trying to, there's a lot of maybe lots of things we're going to see happen on internet and include this today's deal. And I feel the timing about this Musk and Twitter's deal is very interesting because it happened when Pluto just gets stationary.
Yeah.
And we know in the astrology, stationary is invited. Look at me, look at me. That's definitely something we need to, focus and examine it, every one of us, because from different side. But I think we talk quite a lot about them now, so maybe we should talk about something, for everyone, because we chose a very funny, very interesting day about solar eclipse to run this
Or
special.
did the day pick us?
Oh, I like this view. It is very interesting because, to be honest, when we are talking about the time, in the beginning, I want to do it last week. No, over the week, and suddenly I decided to say, oh, I want to go for a 2 days trip to Brighton, and I delay this talk. And then we find a day, say, okay, today. And when I talk with you, I totally forget today is solar eclipse. Yeah. So how you see this solar eclipse? Let me show the chart. So people
please. I quite like this eclipse.
Okay,
I think
tell me more. Tell me more.
Well, it's ruled by Venus. So the eclipse is in Taurus, which is ruled by Venus. And Venus is exalted and exactly conjunct Jupiter with the eclipse, which is beautiful. Mm-hmm. And it's sextile, isn't it? No, it's not. Sorry, just ignore it. It's sextile by sign. Yes. Okay. And I think that's lovely. I think there's a lot of support there. Mm-hmm. I think it's quite indulgent in some ways. Venus and Jupiter and Pisces are so indulgent. It's beautiful. But I think this is, wherever there's Pisces, we're looking at a very collective feel. Mm-hmm. And at the minute, we're seeing there's so much stuff in the news about victims, about the underdog, the way migration, the refugees, but also this is a very feminine eclipse. There's a female principle running through it. Mm-hmm. And we're seeing in this country, in the Houses of Parliament, the female politicians coming out saying how they've been victims of misogyny, how they've been treated inappropriately in sexual ways by other MPs, the porn. Yes. We've got Pluto sextile that Venus Neptune. Pluto's about sex and misuse of power. We know all those themes that are coming out, and I think women are speaking out and they're sharing their experiences. Mm-hmm. And Pisces is very much about sharing, and they're sharing all of this, and it's got to be beneficial and it's got to help. And I think speaking out via technology, whether in person, because Uranus is conjunct this eclipse, so it's very much about technology stuff. Indeed. It's if we just share our own personal experiences, we can make change, and little change helps to change the world. But we've got Jupiter there, so it could be big change. There's a lot to like about this eclipse, and I think this is, if you're wanting to make any changes in your relationships, if you're stuck in a rut, if you want to make changes with your finances, with your banking, this is a brilliant eclipse to do that. Get out of the mold, get out of the rut, and it's the perfect time for an emotional reboot in your relationships. It's lovely, fight back and make change in your life. There's Mars there, which is sextile the eclipse as well, which is beautiful. Fight back and make the changes that you want to make,
I 100%
Lovely.
agree with you with this because when I look at the eclipse chart, if I don't talk about particular country, just think about the whole chart for everyone
Yeah.
else, what we can apply for this energy. Like you, the first things I notice is Uranus conjunct with the sun and moon with the new moon, and the Mars sextile this whole Taurus 10 degrees new moon,
Yeah.
and they give you energy. And this energy is a sextile, so it's kind of friendly. It's a stimulation, but
Yeah.
also kind of encourage you go to do something. It's not like a fighting or trying to block you from somewhere, but it's a sextile. It's a very friendly way. So,
Mhm.
like you say, it encourages us to make a change. Just step out, or even if you don't feel that, maybe you can have help from the friends or something, from people around you.
With all that Pisces and that
Yeah,
the Venus and Jupiter and Neptune, there's help out there. There is help, and people
exactly.
are there supporting each other. I really do think this is beautiful, and there's so much opportunity to break the rules of your own life, and get rid of anything that's stifling you or controlling you
Yeah.
or that doesn't fit anymore,
Mm.
because we can't move forward when we carry things through that hold us back.
Yeah.
You
Yeah, I
know,
agree. Yes.
find new things or a new fit.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's a
I
lovely
think
eclipse.
this eclipse is quite interesting, and I like another way to see it from the Solar Circle, from the Benedict Brady's technique. So this is
Yeah,
like an
I've got that
N6.
here. Yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
and so some people I think from NASA I call it 119. The series number is 119, and then the Benedict Brady is a N6. So the family, this family share the kind of taking the responsibility, and also like with the the main themes is working with authority, and also
Yeah,
I think there's also like make yourself authority. That is kind of a major theme of this Sarah circle, and I think the chart says it's this kind of a make change, push you to make change.
yeah,
Sometimes it's like you have to make a decision and you have to be that authority, taking
yeah.
your own
Well,
responsibility.
yeah, you've got Saturn there,
Mm,
making a T square with the nodes.
yes,
Right? This is
yes,
about taking responsibility for making change in your own life.
yes,
You know,
yeah,
if some commitments don't suit you anymore, don't hang on to them.
yep,
Get rid and make new commitments.
yeah.
Yeah,
I think we should not ignore that with all the fixed sign there. you know,
yeah, yeah,
somehow is you really need time. Really need some support or something, really, because
yeah,
Saturn in fixed sign, Sun, Moon, Uranus in fixed sign. That is not easy to not very. To be honest, is you need some push a lot. I think.
You do need to push, because the fixed signs want to hold on to everything.
Yes.
Taurus wants to hold on to everything. So
Yeah.
hold on to what's good and still works for you,
Yeah.
and then get rid of anything that doesn't work for you, or just start thinking about it now. Maybe
Yes.
start, planning and just
Yeah.
examining your life, and look at all those areas that are holding you back and keeping you stuck, because the
Yes.
fixed side can really keep you stuck sometimes.
Indeed. Yes. Yes,
Yeah,
yes, and I think I want to share my experience because just yesterday I was chatting to a friend, and he was share his there's his colleague around him, and he feel like those um the colleague that doesn't share really what should I say, the positive view of life, and keep complaining about everyday's life but don't want to make change. I say we all have friends like this, and then because when we talk about this eclipse chart, and suddenly I remember what I tell him. I say, I'm not qualified as a a counselor or a consultant or psychotherapist. But sometimes I know that when people are stuck in their life, they before they really have a power to move, they really need a little bit of empathy. They really need their suffering or what their wounds or what they feel painful to be witnessed. That's why they keep talking about that. Because why I remember this, because when you say that moon, Neptune, Venus, and the Jupiter in
All
the
that Pisces
the
energy,
Pisces
yeah,
degree,
suffering.
yeah, and that they well, they couldn't see the sun and moon, they couldn't see the Mars. Although they can see the Mars, but they are there. They are waiting to be here, to be seen, to say, I understand your pain. Then maybe they can start, they feel they be understood, and then they can move forward or something. But that is still demand a lot of work to do. I have to say that, because it's not easy.
I think with this eclipse, it's be kind to yourself, be
Mm-hmm.
kind to other people, be kind to
Yeah,
yourself, and
yeah,
together we
yes,
can make change.
yes, indeed, indeed.
Yeah.
This is this eclipse, and then because I remember you talking about the next one, the lunar eclipse is at 26 Scorpion, and that is even more.
Potent.
Yeah, that
Potent.
one. We will talk. We maybe find the time to talk about that one soon. I
Yeah,
think that one would be fun, because there's a lot of things involved there. Yes.
yeah.
Well, I think today we spent quite a lot of time to talk about the whole things, right? It's quite interesting. Well, so Lianne, do you have any planning for the future, like that a recent any talk or anything comes up?
Yeah, I have quite a lot going on. I need to sit
Yeah.
down and get organized. So I'm doing a talk on Pluto in Aquarius. So I'm doing that next month for I think the South End Astrology group. I'm going to put it all on my website or on
Cool.
Instagram.
Cool.
I'm doing some talks for you, Rod,
Yes.
later this year.
Yes.
Um, and then I've got some more that I'm organised. I'm doing something for the Bath Astrology group later in the year.
Cool.
And then I've got some others that I haven't finalised yet. And then I've got some publications that are coming out, and yeah, it's quite busy. And then all my work
Yeah.
as a Mayo tutor, because I have a lot of students for the Mayo, and
Okay.
I do a lot of webinars for the Mayo. So yeah, it's quite full on.
I think it's very interesting, because today for this Instagram live for both of us is a new adventure, right?
Yeah,
So that's I think and you mentioned that because this eclipse with the Uranus there,
yeah.
I said make us both kind of quite excited things. We say let's do it, because I mean I don't know why it's a fun, it's a new toy, or it's a new game to play. And I was like, oh, how to set it up, because I really don't know. I really don't know how to set it up. And I try a few times and finally try to get it right. So I think we'll need to adjust and need to learn how to use this new Instagram.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but if you don't try, it doesn't happen. And it's about being pushed out of your comfort zone, which this eclipse
Yeah.
is about, being
Mm-hmm.
pushed out of that comfortable fixed energy and that Taurus energy where you feel really safe. Just
Yes.
push out of your comfort zone and do something a little bit different, and then the
Yeah.
changes will all come from there. Yeah.
Definitely, definitely. Yeah, well, okay. Thanks, Lianne. Thanks, everyone. I think today we really have a fun time, and our first experience on Instagram. I hope our audience like it, and I will see if I didn't make any mistake. I maybe can save this clip, and I will share with you. Okay. Well, thanks everyone for watching, and I
Thank
think
you.
yeah, we will come back soon, and once we find the way how to navigate and how to do the Instagram, we will come back soon and regularly. Okay, bye. Have a nice weekend, and
Thank
enjoy
you,
solar
Rod.
eclipse.
Take care,
Bye.
everyone. Bye. Bye-bye.